Hello, ladies and gentlemen. The talk today is going to be about how to get my beloved people, the Igbo people, to stop facing irrelevancies and to face relevant things. I think that even my detractors cannot deny that I love the Igbo people. For over 2 decades, I have done nothing but look out for the Igbo people. And many well-meaning Igbos, some of them are subscribers to this my YouTube channel. They say it publicly that I have cared when nobody bothered to care. I know Igbo history, probably more than anybody alive today. I mean ancient Igbo history, which is basically Israelite history. I repeat what I said. I know Igbo history, not probably, certainly more than anybody alive today. I mean ancient history, and I'm talking about Hebrew and Israelite history. Since the identity changed to IGBO, or before it, IBO, there may be other people who, like our guys that studied history in universities. I don't know if they studied Igbo history anyway, but they are familiar with that. But as far as the ancient part is concerned, I have no competitor in the world today. And I know because I know this history very well, I know what these people have done in the past, recent past, that they don't even know they did. I repeat what I said, because I know their ancient history, which is a part of, or which was a part of what produced the much more recent part of their history. I know their capabilities and their capacities and some of the things they have done in the past, which they don't even know they did, and which raises my hope that if they refocus, they will change the world. The world would pay attention. The greatest statesmen of the world will call them for discussions all the time. But they don't even know they did those things. So what do? Because they have no idea of what they did and what they can do. What they do is that they focus on irrelevancies. There is a particular irrelevance that has gripped most of them. Today I saw one of them. The address reads America. She was responding to a post by one of the more, I don't want to use the term intelligent, but he's extremely intelligent. Emeka Maduawes, a lawyer from Nnewi. This one was responding to a post by Emeka Maduawes, where Emeka brought the Onis of Ife's feet down. The Oni of Ife is a Yoruba god king who loves to intervene mischievously in Igbo history. Emeka gave him the history of the kola nut, told him that when we were growing up, my big brother that is on this channel, Obilona, will testify. When we were all growing up in Igbo land, many compounds had kola nut trees, but you only had, as usual, gaffed by saying, this king of the Yorubas had come out and said that Igbo should show him where kola nuts are grown in Igbo land. Let's not waste time on this part of the story. So Emeka ended his discussion by saying that Yoruba culture is Egyptian, and this is beyond a doubt the truth. Yoruba culture is a mixture of Egyptian and Canaanite cultures, while the Igbo culture is Israelite. One bird with an address in America, a woman flew in and said Igbos are older than Israel. What exactly that means, I don't know, because it is meaningless. There are two major towns two major communities in Igbo land. There are, of course, hundreds of major communities. My hometown is one of the major communities. Every town in Igbo land, our towns are called Obodo. They are basically extended families All of them are major. So don't get me wrong if I say major. Of all the towns in Igbo land, which could you say is older than the other? Is Onitsha older than Nnewi? Is Ihiala older than Osobo? I mean, but this fantasy, this obsession, this has become an obsession for Igbos that they are older than Israel. And there is basically no reason, no evidence for this. The Israelite civilization, if they mean biblical Israel, is one of the old civilizations in history. It appeared in texts that are 2,900 years. The term IGBO does not appear in any book over 50. Let me be clear, it does not appear in any book over 200 years. So how can a people who have the identity IGBO, that's their name, be saying that they are older than a people that existed 3,000 years ago that left history about 2,000 years ago? If they say that the Hebrews, as I have said time and time again, Igbo is one of the forms that Hebrew has taken. If they say that the Hebrews are older than the Israelites, it makes sense because the Hebrews produced the Israelites. But if they are talking of IGBO, I want them to show me a book in which IGBO appears in 200 years ago. Nobody has been able to provide that. Nobody has produced any archaeological evidence linking anything to this identity, IGBO. Some people, many people have learned that Igbos are vain, and non-Igbos have cashed out on this. But in this case, some Igbos who wanted to be famous at all costs without putting in any work, began to lie that they saw this and that in Igbo land that is 500,000 years. By the way, this clown of a woman said that Igbos have been around for hundreds of thousands of years. The Egyptians, nobody claims that the Egyptians have been around for hundreds of thousands of years. Nobody in this world makes the claim that any contemporary ethnic group has been around in the form they present themselves today for hundreds of thousands of years. And one would assume that an Igbo who lives in America would know the right from the left. But I have been in America for 9 years. In fact, the Igbos in Nigeria are better informed than most that are in America because I understand what's going on. They don't tap into the resources of America. Their lives are spent from their workplaces to their churches. They don't know anything about the Native Americans. They don't know anything about other Americans. So they are not informed. But some of them are informed, but majority are not. So, as the Igbos will say, Odeva Atakasimane. This is a group that could tell the world we were the first people to practice democracy. This was a group that could tell the world we were the first group in the world to protect women, to make women a protected part of community. And most of them don't know what I'm talking about because they don't think. The Igbos uniquely in Nigeria remain the group in which society does not think that marriage has occurred until the woman accepts wine from the man publicly and agrees. You don't know the significance of this? There are civilizations in this world where people kidnap women and those women are viewed as their wives. But in the Igbo case, before you can tell the society that this is my wife, the woman must have accepted it in public. They are not bragging about things like this. They are lying that they are the oldest people in the world, thinking that that brings glory. There are 5 members of the United Nations Security Council. None of them claims to be the oldest civilization in the world. The old countries there are Britain, France, China, Russia. America is a young country, 250 years, and in fact is the most important country in the world today, and it's just 250 years. So, why does this irrelevance make some Igbos happy? And if this irrelevance is based on facts, it will be a different thing. In this case, it's based on fantasies. I love these people, but I think they are wasting away. I think they are wasting away because if you face the unimportant things, you will not face the important things. One of them, Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, practically gave independence to almost all the African countries. They are not bragging about things like this. It took an Idoma engineer to say that Zik went to Ghana, inspired Nkrumah. They are not bragging about things like this. What they are bragging about is that they are older than the people that appeared in history 3,000 years ago. When as IGBO, Igbo, they are not in any written record that is 200 years old. I don't want to get into much more into the question of how old Igbos have been as Igbos, if I want to use the term Igbo or Igbo. In Nigeria, the Igbos have not been there for more than 1,500 years. They lingered for some time in the desert, then they filtered into that land. I don't want to get into all that because it's not necessary. It's not necessary to get into all that. So, I don't know what they mean. Every group in the world came from the ancestors of modern man. So, if the ancestors of modern man have been in the world for 1 million years, everybody in the world can claim that they have been in the world for 1 million years. I don't know if this is what they mean. Or are they now claiming that they were those ancestors of modern man found in East Africa? And why this is so troubling is that even the ones in the advanced countries where you have good libraries, where people don't no longer struggle to find food to put on the table, they also vomit this rubbish. That's why Igbos could be in America since 1900. There is no Igbo lobby, no Igbo museum, no Igbo university, no Igbo nursery school. And we want to be clapped for. It's a pity.